Welcome back to Ghetto Nation, where true horror hides in the shadows. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, then you already know. Some stories stick with you. Get comfortable, turn the lights down, and don't look behind you. These stories are based on real events, and some of them might still be happening. Let's begin. Story 1. The Man With No Luggage. I picked him up just outside Flagstaff. He looked rough. Long hair, dirt-caked jeans, thumb out like it had been stuck that way for hours. I drive long-haul freight, so I'm used to weirdos. But he wasn't aggressive, just quiet. He climbed in, nodded once, then stared straight ahead. After a few minutes, I said, "Where you headed?" He replied, "Anywhere you're not." I laughed, thinking it was a joke, but he didn't laugh back. I told myself he was just tired. Maybe high. I drove on. He didn't speak again for 2 hours. Then, suddenly, he asked, "You ever leave someone behind?" I shook my head. "Nope." He smiled. I did. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out a small photo. It was old and faded. A picture of a woman standing in front of a gas station. Her eyes were scribbled out with black ink. She was supposed to wait for me. He crumpled the photo, shoved it in his pocket, and leaned back. At that point, I started looking for the next truck stop to drop him off. Something felt wrong. Real wrong. But when I pulled in, he was gone. I swear to God. He was just gone. Door never opened. No sound. No trace. Just the photo on my passenger seat. Uncrumpled. Unburned. And now, her eyes were normal. But my face was scratched out. Story 2. Third ride's the charm. I was hitchhiking home from a failed camping trip. My ride bailed and my phone had no service. First guy that picked me up was normal, just a local heading east. Dropped me off near a gas station. Second ride? A trucker with too many questions. I lied about where I lived, gave him fake details, just in case. He gave me bad vibes. The third one, though. That's the one that messed me up. Beat-up van, cracked windshield, no plates. The driver was smiling when he pulled over, like he was waiting for me. I hesitated, but he waved me over. "Come on, I'm headed that way." Against my better judgment, I got in. Inside smelled like bleach and rust. I tried to stay calm. 10 minutes in, I noticed there were no handles on the inside of the passenger door. My heart started racing. I reached for my phone. He chuckled. "No use. No signal out here. I've checked." I hadn't said a word yet. He kept driving. Turned off onto a dirt path I didn't recognize. I asked where we were going. He said, "Somewhere quiet." I told him to stop the van. He didn't. So I reached across and yanked the steering wheel. We crashed into a tree. When I came to, the door was busted open. I crawled out and ran like hell. Cops found the van 2 days later, burned to a shell. No sign of the driver. No fingerprints. Just a pile of old clothes and 5 cell phones in a duffel bag. None of them were mine. Story 3. Midnight Pickup. I was driving home through West Virginia around 2 a.m. when I saw him standing by the roadside. No lights around, just woods. He wore a hoodie and jeans, barely looked up as I pulled over. "Need a lift?" I asked. He nodded once and climbed in. He smelled like wet leaves and smoke. Didn't say a word. I tried making small talk. No reply. After a while, I noticed the rearview mirror. It wasn't reflecting him. Just an empty seat. I glanced back. He was still there. Silent. Breathing. But the mirror showed nothing. At the next turnoff, I slammed the brakes and told him to get out. He didn't move. Then, in a voice that sounded like mine, he said, "We're not there yet." I hit the gas. Drove another mile. Then I passed a sign that chilled me to the bone. "Now. Leaving Green Hollow." But that's where I started the drive. I had looped around, without ever turning. I looked again. The passenger seat was empty. Only a fogged-up window remained, with a single handprint on the glass. Mine. If you made it this far, you're braver than most. Subscribe for more true horror stories, told just the way they happened. Stay alert, stay curious, and remember, the scariest things are the ones that feel real. Until next time, keep your lights on.